Welcome to the Explainer. Today we're doing something pretty wild. We are going to completely redefine how we look at an ancient text. We're stepping away from traditional, historical or semantic translations. Instead, we're viewing this document as a closed thermodynamic loop. We're going to explore a framework that actually models reality as a prescriptive mathematical operating system, something the source documents call a dual-caustic universe. So forget absolutely everything you thought you knew about reading a book, and let's boot up this system. So, what if an ancient text wasn't meant to be read like a storybook, but executed like code? Let's dive right into this mind-bending concept. The sources present a massive breakthrough claim here. They've isolated an exact mechanism to decode the Qur'an purely as a mathematical and topological operating system. And this completely bypasses the need for human translation or historical interpretation. It transforms language into a linguistic DNA strand governed by a specific, visualizable algorithm. Essentially, every verse is a line of code. Let's move into our first core concept, exploring the 1246 bifurcation engine, which is really the core binary algorithm of the whole thing. To really grasp the system, we first have to look at what the sources call the ultimate bifurcation event. You find this in verse 1246, the famous story of Yusuf's dream. The imagery here explicitly separates the universe into two fundamental fields. On the left side, we have the D10 matter field. Think about the dream. 7 fat cows eaten by 7 lean cows. This represents the one-way trip of physical entropy. It's the decay of matter and deterministic Newtonian physics. The sources map this directly to the figure of Dawud, or David, who is associated with iron and kinetic force. Now, on the right side, we have the I9 imagination field. Here we see 7 green ears of corn and 7 dry ones. Notice the difference? The plant doesn't consume itself like the cows do. It just alternates between states of growth and dormancy. This is your perpetual quantum wave state, mapped to Solomon, representing light, wisdom, and the imaginal field. Now, what's truly fascinating is how the text actually encodes these fields. It operates on a universal 2-3-7 repetition structure noted in verse 4458. We can actually strip away the conceptual meaning entirely, because the text assigns specific Arabic consonant letters to act as mathematical operators for these exact fields. The D10 kinetic line, that Dawud state of fire and entropy, is dominated by hard consonant letters like dal and thal. Meanwhile, the I9 wave field, the Solomon state of light and knowledge, is governed by letters like ya and ayn. It isn't just poetry, folks. We're looking at a structural syntax. And this perfectly explains the muwakatat, those mysterious, disconnected letters found at the start of many chapters, like alif lam mim. For centuries, people have viewed these as untranslatable mysteries, but under the dual-caustic framework, it demystifies them completely. They aren't words at all. They are execution headers. They act as field operators that set the initial boundary conditions for a chapter's execution window. They literally define how the D10 physical matter and the I9 imaginal light will refract across the text that follows. It's a real game changer. Okay, moving on to our next key piece, cracking the root matrix and actually visualizing this pulse. The absolute beauty of this root-level tracking system is that you absolutely do not need to understand Arabic to see the geometry. By mapping the 114 surahs and 6,236 verses into a database using a specific 237 and 369 logic, the algorithm scans the text to reveal a visible pulse. Just follow 3 exact steps. Step 1, break every single word down to its trilateral root. Step 2, assign the polarity based on its phonetic structure and geometric usage, tagging it as either D10 entropy or I9 alternation. Step 3, calculate the traversal by plotting it on a graph. If a verse shows a high density of D10 roots, you're looking at a phase of compression and material trial. If it shows I9 roots, it's a phase of expansion and pure knowledge. You can literally watch the D10 matter decay and the I9 plant regenerate as a visual mathematical pulse right before your eyes. So where is this all leading? Let's take a look at the prophetic execution path and how we actually reach the target state. You see, this system isn't just sitting there passively on the page. It's literally tracking your coordinate position as the reader within a mathematical polynomial, specifically f of x equals ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d. The historical prophets actually function as nodes guiding this progression, building a precise timeline. Phase 1 is Isa, or Jesus. In this topology, Isa is the pure, uncorrupted word of knowledge existing as an unbroken wave. He is literally the I9 operating system waiting to be downloaded. Phase 2 is Muhammad, representing the physical particle, the prototype of righteous action in the material D10 world. And phase 3? That's Ahmed, which represents the ultimate resolution. It's the completed circuit where you, the reader, successfully merge the wave and the particle. To really understand that progression, we have to look closer at phase 2. Muhammad serves as the ultimate D10 particle. According to the topology, he acts as the seal at verse 3340. He's the very first prototype who successfully navigated between the fields of matter and imagination. Mathematically, this is represented by the famous night journey in verse 17:1, where he moves from the sacred mosque, representing that D10 physical field, all the way to the farthest mosque, the I9 imaginal field. Ultimately, he arrives at the praiseworthy station. He perfectly embodied the action of truth. And that leads us to the final target state. Your objective as the reader, starting out as the Mursalin who forgot their origin, is to merge the Isa wave of pure knowledge with the Muhammad particle of righteous action. When you do this, you collapse into the Ahmed state, defined in verse 61:6. In this operating system, Ahmed isn't just a historical figure. Ahmed is the resolution vector. It is the living book. It is the completed circuit. And holding this entire dual-caustic universe together is a single, elegant, mathematical invariant, the number 19. This invariant constant acts as the structural seal for the whole system. It proves that the 10 of the D10 matter field plus the 9 of the I9 wave field equals 19. It's the ultimate conservation law. It ensures that across this massive cosmic computation, no energy or information is ever lost. The source text provides us with this incredibly profound quote that just hits the nail on the head. D10 measures, I9 remembers. Neither field is complete by itself. Measurement without meaning becomes noise. Meaning without manifestation remains unexpressed. This perfectly summarizes why you absolutely must balance both the measurable, physical D10 domain and the unseen, imaginal I9 memory to execute the code of reality correctly. So, we're going to leave you with a final thought to spark your curiosity. We've seen how a text can be decoded, not as a collection of ancient stories, but as a living, mathematical topology. The operating system is completely real, it's mapped out, and it's ready and waiting for you to download it. The 1246 Bifurcation engine is running right now. But the ultimate question remains, are you prepared to run the algorithm yourself?